Hello, everyone, and welcome to Food for Life this week. I'm your host, Ashley Shesleen, and I'm so excited to welcome you all back. We have a really interesting guest this week. I'm so excited for her to share her story with you and to share a little bit about what she does. Now, you know that we all talk about all kinds of forms of wellness, all kinds of forms of food on this show, but there is a type of wellness we have yet to cover, and that is financial wellness. And how do we take those steps, especially with this economy that we have going on and how this is such an uneasy conversation. None of us ever like talking about money. I know very few people that actually like to talk about money. So I thought this was an important thing to round out our wellness experience. So I would like to welcome Giulia right after these messages from our lovely people at E360. Hi, Giulia. Thank you for joining us this week on Food for Life. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good. It was a lovely sunny day here in New England. How about you? Did you get to enjoy it?
I was really sunny.
I know. I'm just so grateful it's not like, 20 below already. So, Giulia here is a spiritual CEO, a digital creator, and what she calls a mindset mentor. Do you think you could maybe tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do a little bit?
Absolutely. So I am a spiritual business mentor, my coach, business coach, and really unique about what I do is I really blend together the spiritual with the practical. So bringing together the mindset and energetics to business. And this all came about is when I was starting my business and wanted to be in the office. I wanted to be an influencer. So I started in that realm and I realized that there was a lot of mindset and spiritual in the scenes work that went into my dream life and business. So what was originally a roadblock for me because a lot of the courses coaches that I worked with were just all about me and not so much about my mindset. And that's when I realized that that mindset foundation for everything. So I found a way, which is my unique approach of being together really identical to entrepreneurship and helping people from all around the world create their dream life and business.
I like that. I mean, we talk about having the right skills and things, but we never talk about the mindset to have them be open to things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, where did you get the openness, the right mindset, the abundance mindset, the manifesting come from in your business? Because you talk about how, the bio that you have on your website talks about living with layers of scarcity and trauma and making you feel burnout. So, what does that all mean to you?
So my journey first began when I found out that I was $5,000 in debt, and I felt really lost, and I was googling how to make money online fast because all I wanted to do was be out of debt, move to New York, get out of my childhood bedroom, my parents' house, things like that. So what I realized was going to take a little bit more than a Google search of how to make money online. So I was working a full-time job on Wall Street at the time, and simultaneously building my personal brand on Instagram through an account that I had that was a brand account for my pop store, which is a reseller app for those. So I began posting my clothes on Poshmark and hope them to try to pay off my debt. And at the same time, I also just discovered the book, The Secret. Well, I discovered it really like a year prior, but I was starting to put the work into practice, kind of on this like relationship to self kick. And I was like, I really need to work on myself. I really work on my scarcity mindset, my limiting belief. And I was trying to set at the same time and work my full-time job. I was just trying to like find myself. And within 6 months using the manifestation principles that I had learned prior that I had times before, I applied them to business, and I was able to pay off my debt in 6 months.
Oh, wow. So all that from a Poshmark account in the right mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny that you think that we can't do it. Like you see the big number and then you're like, oh God, what do I do? How do I fix this? Is there a way out of this? Or do you think people repeat patterns that they see in their life, like what they're taught?
Absolutely. So, we all have our like limiting beliefs and past experiences, and it's all based on like the environment that you were brought up in. So it's like my parents were both immigrants, like they immigrated here. So I had a lot of like scarcity mindset just built into me. And really just like that like hustle, like you got to make it, like chasing the American dream type of thing. And realized was that I was living in survival mode for a really long time, and was only when I got deep into my spiritual practice and bring manifestation and law of attraction, mindset work, meditation, and all the things that I realized that I didn't really feel safe and secure. So that was going to be a lot of identity shifting and shifting my on a deeper, more subconscious level.
So where did you start? Like what was your first step into that world? Like other than reading a book, what made you think like, do I meditate? Do I do affirmations? Like what was the first thing you were drawn to?
Yeah, so I first started, like I said, I read the book The Secret, and I began implementing the practices, and I created a morning routine for. I'm a morning person, and I've always loved routines and rituals. So my morning routine was just going to wake up, I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes, and then after I meditate, going to journal 3 sentences of gratitude and three affirmations. And that practice, this is something I still do to this day. And it's gotten me so far, because it's not so much about like what you're writing, it's about committing to what's bigger than yourself.
And so that you did this and you started it, and that was how many years ago now?
I started my spiritual journey in 2018.
So that was a couple of years ago now. And so that you've been doing this, we've been talking about how people start repeating patterns that they've seen. Now, do you feel like because you've done these patterns and you've done your rituals and you've done your routines and things, do you ever feel yourself slipping back into those old patterns, like when you're times of stress or anything like that?
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of moments where that little voice will come in, or you'll fall off track. Much more important is just the ability to like quickly rebound and quick back on track. And I think what's really important here is understanding the why for why you're thing, because like let's talk losing weight, for example. Like the only way you're gonna sustainably lose weight is if you choose to change the belief you have about yourself deep down inside, and choose to actually shift your paradigm and really shift your identity. Because if not, people are going to go into yo-yo dieting and fad diets and overworking out, and it's not possible. So any sustainable that you want to create, you have to first change your beliefs and really the way that you view yourself, which is your relationship to self.
It's kind of funny that you said that. Is I've been trying this year, one of my conscious goals was I'm terrible at meditating. Like I can't do that 15 minutes at the end of yoga. I mostly just want to go to sleep. Like I can't, like my mind wanders too much. So I've been trying to do guided meditation a few mornings a week. And I find that starting just another practice in the morning has started to help me shift feelings inside myself. Like
Yeah.
whether it be my mindset or things like that, whether it be just a few mornings a week. Making such small changes like that, I don't think people realize how big of a change it makes in our mental shifts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how have you started to apply this to a business mindset? Because I know mine are for personal, what I'm doing, but if I did this, how would I apply it to my business?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really about knowing what you're going after. So a lot of people will walk around like aimless, like I don't know what I want. Right. So when you ask people, what do you want? Most people will just tell you what they don't want. So what I teach in my programs and even apply my business course is what is that outcome that we are desiring? So if your outcome is to start your social, your outcome is to grow your first 10K month or scale to 50K month, whatever it is knowing that North Star, what's that thing that you're working towards, and then we can focus, like what are the beliefs you need to adopt to build a business that generates $1,000 a month. Who are the kind of people to help? Who do you have to show up as? It's the actual inspired actions you need to take on a day-to-day basis.
So you're saying that if we start thinking about, so it's a different way of looking at who our ideal customer is to get what we want in the end, right?
What do you mean by that?
So people always say, like, who's your ideal customer when you're looking at your business? So this is just a different way of going at who are the ideal people that you want to target to get your ideal outcome, but you're coming at it from a different angle, right?
Not necessarily. So it's more about, what is the business you're looking to create, knowing why you're doing something, what's the impact, what's the movement, what's the intention in it. And then you can go into the strategy. What is the step by step? So a place where the problem again, maybe you're trying to attract in the right clients, but your clients are just going to be a reflection of who you are. So if you want to attract in a type of client, what do you need to change internally to attract in that next level person?
So when we have shifts in ourselves, we start reflecting the people that we want in our business and the people we want to have around us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, I finally got one right. So I'm learning about this stuff and it's newer for me. So I'm just trying. My light fell on its side while we were talking and I'm trying to get it to fix.
Worries.
There we go. As I have my lighting and it's falling over while we're talking. So we're doing the patterns in the self-help and you started down putting your manifesting skills to work on your business and in your personal life. Do you think you made better strides personally or professionally since you started doing this?
Well, I would say that the two are very connected. So they're very connected in terms of like this and personal life for sure.
What do you mean by that? Like, do you think that you can keep them in balance? Because I've definitely had times in my life where my personal life's going great, but my business life not so much, or I've had it the opposite way. So how do you keep that in balance in your life?
So I think where it comes back to like what is the North Star, and especially the people that I work with in the business that I did is all about getting your business around your life. So it's like for me, right, my business is my personal brand, right? My digital presence, coach, mentorship. So like what's going on in my life actually fuels my business, and my business does significant better when I'm like living more in my personal life. I'm living my life to the fullest. Really is so interconnected, and this is something that I also share alongside in my programs as well, like people who are truly building businesses in alignment with their bigger mission.
I like that, to have like a bigger mission. If we're in alignment with everything, then kind of like the universe balancing everything out.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a better way of saying that, you know how they say you can't have it all and you can't have it like work out, but if you're going by this mindset and these thoughts and principles that you're talking about, you're more likely to be closer to having it all, right?
Yeah.
I like that. So people get the wrong idea about like manifesting their goals and switching their mindset. Where do you think people go wrong the most?
I would say like wanting a quick fix, because I think that there's a lot of misinformation around manifesting, like try this method, this thing, and people see like crazy weird stuff on TikTok. And the truth is that manifestation is just energy. So like if something works so quickly, it's because energy. Like we're all energetic beings, every up of energy. So the way that you manifest is you are on a frequency, on an energy, and the thing that you desire is an energy and on a frequency. So how can you match that energy? And if something manifests quicker for somebody, it's because they're energetic alignment with it, versus who's like, I did literally the thing step by step. It's all about your energy at the day.
So do you think though sometimes we try to manifest something, but it may not be in line with what we want and our desires, like deep down? Like people are just trying to go think, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do if I'm trying to manifest something, and they're not clear on their like why, or it's just something they think they should do.
Yeah. So when manifesting, I think of people turn to logic. And it's really not about the logic. Like it's about the feeling. It's about the fee. But we're humans. Like we want a step by step. We want it to make sense. And what's so important, that feeling is the secret. So how can you tap into the feeling of the thing that you want as if it's opened? And who is the person that you need to be to attract your desires?
So what was one of the first goals you ever had to start, like when you started manifesting? What was one of the first goals you ever had?
Yeah. So when I first started, I was like, I just want to see if this works. So I was like, I'm gonna manifest 10,000 in my bank account. So I had $5,000 at the time when I had first discovered investing, and I was like, I'm just gonna see if it works. And within it was August, and I said by the end of this year, I have $10,000 in my bank account, and then within I had received an unexpected check of $5,000. So I had got my $1,000, and I was like, whoa, it worked. And once I had that experience is when I really tapped in, and I was like, oh, this is so cool because I now can see that this works. Like, what else can I do?
So that was your first one. And what made you start thinking, okay, so I started small. How do I use this to have a dream life? Like I can start thinking bigger now. I can start all those wild thoughts I have in my head. Maybe they are a possibility for me.
Absolutely. So like I said, it was kind of that experience of like, if I can do this, what else I can do. And then it was just really that that long-term vision. But what are the individual steps that I need to take to get that long-term vision?
So what were you doing? You said this all happened while you were interning on Wall Street. What were you doing on Wall Street?
Yeah, yeah. So to be a financial advisor, and that was when I discovered manifestation was at that job. That job really interesting, because you would think like, oh, that's like Wall Street. Like, why are we investing in spirituality? But I
Yeah.
was actually working next to somebody who introduced me to the book, The Secret.
Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, if you were working on Wall Street, I'm like, was this someone's assistant that gave this to you? Or is this like somebody else that was interning with you? Because typically spirituality and money don't typically go together in such a traditional setting.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting. Also, something that I teach about is like really breaking the stigma that like money's bad, like money's evil, and really focusing my spiritual practice on such an abundant mindset, whether it's money or anything else.
It's actually kind of one of those things that, I mean, when people first come to you, like your clients you help or people that sign up for your classes, it's one of those things where talking about money is one of those things that you're brought up to not really do. So how do they feel when it's like, okay, we need to talk about where do you want your money to be? Where do you want, like, it's just an uncomfortable thing for a lot of people to talk about.
Yeah. So actually why a lot of people choose to work with me, because we talk about money. Let's bring it to the table. And a lot of people who want to work their money beliefs come to me. Money mindset's a big part of my doing, a big part of content, a big part of everything that I do. So we really like break them out, and we talk about it very openly, freely, rewire, really focus. Why do you have these beliefs about money, and how can we shift them?
What have you found to be like the biggest hurdle for people to get over when it comes to money? Like a mindset that they've either grown up with or that's been societal that people have had to get over with?
Yeah, I would say like that belief that there isn't enough. Like any of money, there's an abundance, and like that abundance of money is destined for each and every person.
Interesting. Never really saw it as like everyone got a certain amount of money and then that was it. It's just I grew up with, like you, in a traditional Italian family where, like, you know, you work hard, you make money, you save until you can't save anymore. And that feeling has led, the first few years I was in business led me to be quite burned out, and my creativity kind of stalled for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that's common with a lot of people?
Yeah, I would say everybody has their own individual money block, own individual money beliefs. So hard to generalize it, but I would definitely say that the biggest thing that I see is people living in like of scarcity. So thinking that they work a 9 to 5, they have to get a set, and then the fear of mass layoffs and people getting laid off or fired like that same day, and they're like, wait, like this isn't even safe after all. So why am I gonna, waste my life these things that don't light me up? And I think the biggest shift that my clients see is going from that like deep rooted scarcity. Like, I need to work this job. I need to live to paycheck. I need to pay my bills, to everything is working out for me. There's an abundance of money. Money's on its way to me. Actually seeing that manifest into.
Um, so you envisioned your business and everything. How long was it before it actually took shape? The business that you have now, the, like, your personal brand, the podcast, the classes you offer, the clients. How long was it from the start to where you are now?
Yeah. So I opened my business, like filed for my L in 2021. And I earned my first 6 figures actually within 6 starting my business.
So I can't imagine, I mean, as a business owner myself, it can't all be ups. There have to be downs because it's not all sunshine and roses every time. What have been some of your biggest failures that you've, like, learned from?
Yeah, I would definitely say like managing your emotions. I think that's definitely been one of the more charts of being an entrepreneur. So like I was saying before, how like my life and my business are so connected that sometimes, especially in the beginning, like I would take a lot of things personally. Like if someone doesn't show up on a call, or um, um, says that they missed my program or something like that. I used to take that like really personal, as if it were a reflection of me. And what I realized is that their own stuff, right? It's always about you, is kind of like that light bulb moment that I had, and that the right people will be there for the right reason. And if they're not, then that's okay. It just weren't meant for you. You're making space for somebody who meant for you, and who will come to you in the most perfect and divine timing, and usually clear out those people you make room for.
So in the end, it taught you to be more open to what was for you instead of what everything. I mean, me personally, when somebody doesn't like my food, I feel like, oh, I feel so hurt. But then I have to remember that, everyone's tastes are different. I mean, what I think is spicy may be like not spicy to somebody else, or like people like more salt or so it took me a long time too before I started to realize that, like, okay, I'm not going to make everyone happy all the time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's hard to learn. What have been some of your biggest lessons in business other than managing your emotion?
Yeah, I would say cyclical, knowing what season you're in. Are you in a growth season? Are you in harvest season? Are you in planting season? Really just knowing you're in and working towards one, two desired outcomes. That's how I run my business. I used to really spread myself thin, try to do everything, try to be everywhere, and it kind of just got me nowhere. So what I realized and from this experience is like coming back to the mindset and the identity work is, why are you doing this all? So even in your business, like why do you want to achieve X milestone? Why do you want a YouTube channel? Why do you want to do the pod? Knowing the why and the behind it is really like a guiding light as to what to do, because have that guiding light, and that I learned the hard way, that you're going to spread yourself thin, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're going to just say to yourself, like, why did I even do it to begin with?
Isn't it always learning the hard way? Now, we're going to talk about some of the really cool things that you offer and the ways you help your clients after these messages from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Liz Teresa. I help women launch and build online businesses they love.
I needed to give my brand a web presence, but I didn't speak tech. Enter Liz Teresa. With lightning speed, she got the essence of my brand. Her guidance notes, her tips were practical and concrete.
She's the #1 person in my life. I'm so happy she came to me.
So thank you, Liz Teresa. I am so excited to keep working with you.
And we are back. And we were talking about some really hard things about the knowing our whys in our business and talking about learning from our failures. Now we're going to talk about some of the more positive, happy stuff, like how it's led you to some of the really cool programs you offer. So you've helped people with their mindset. And where did a lot of this, like, how do you help people in their businesses? Like, you talk about the mindset, you talk about the manifesting and supporting them, but you have a lot of different offerings. So what was the first one and how has it grown from there?
Yeah, so I have my signature program called Just Creator Academy, and that is with you program. We've helped tons of women just through that program really help them discover their why, and it's a perfect end of the mindset and energetic, as well as business strategy and support. So that is a group program. It's my hybrid signature tried and true program, and I love that program so much. It's my baby. And then I have my mastermind, which is a really intimate circle of high level women who are to scale to multiple 5-figure months and beyond, and really grow the strategy and the systems and structures and that's like true one-to-one support. Even though it's a group setting, mastermind is so everyone gets that realized support and then that opportunity to connect with the other women. I'm also hosting a week coming up in Sedona, Arizona. 11 women signed up. With me, it's 12. So that's really exciting, and really hoping more in-person events later this and beyond.
That sounds like fun. And so have you hosted many in-person events? I know with the past few years being the pandemic, in-person events haven't been as widely done, but do you host retreats on the regular?
That'll be my first retreat.
Okay. So why Sedona, can I ask?
Yeah, I've always to go there. Like it's always been on my bucket list. It's like a super spiritual. Everyone says it's like a vortex of energy. So when I thought about a retreat and I was like, where do I want to do it? That was like top of my list.
Interesting. I've never heard that about Sedona. I learned something new tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done all this stuff, and last year you launched a podcast. What made you want to do that?
Well, people had asked me, lots for so long. Like so many people were like, do a podcast, you gotta do a podcast. And I kept pushing off because I didn't want to do it until the intent was very pure. And I knew I could commit. So literally ever since last July, I've posted one episode a week. And it's been a huge success for me because of course, right? It's because people are seeing amazing results. Just hit 11,000 downloads. So it's really awesome and I'm grateful. But I think what's the most fulfilling is like the commitment that I've made to myself for sure. And two, the mind-blowing like results and like fulfillment that people get in the podcast. Like every single day I receive a message that someone found my podcast and they love it and it changed their life and they inspire them and all these things. So knowing that is like what motivates me to keep eating and keep going.
I like that. It's kind of sending your message to an even bigger audience in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've done this for about a year. Where can we find your podcast?
Yeah, so my podcast is called My Dream Life with Giulia Guerrieri. Find her on Apple.
Okay. Since there's so many new places we can find podcasts these days, I want to make sure everyone can go and find your cool podcast. So you have the podcast, you have the classes, and you also have a community, right?
Yeah, so I have my free community, which is the Conscious Creator Club.
And what can we find in there?
Yeah, so there I have a free course for people who are really looking to raise their level of consciousness, thinking about maybe starting their own business, and really thinking of being out of the matrix and creating this life of themselves.
I like that. So what are your plans going forward? Like, do you have big plans for this year that you might want to share with us?
Yeah, definitely just continuing to grow my Instagram. We're launching and opening the doors in a couple of weeks, doing a free masterclass. So you guys can find Instagram, DM me if you want the link, or you can just go to the link in my bio and just continuing to keep spreading and impacting more people.
All right. That sounds like a good time. And so how do you keep building on your manifesting skills to now you know what you want to do this year, but how does it keep getting bigger, better, crazier? If you think you've reached dreams you never thought you could dream of, how do you start thinking bigger?
Yeah, just continuing to invest in my own growth, coaches, mentorships, is continuing to dedicate myself to my spiritual practices, and honestly just showing up and getting 1% better each and every.
Is there anything you'd like to share with our audience so that they can, like, final thoughts that they can maybe understand you a little better, and then we'll share where they can find you?
Yeah, I say that if you have a big dream, really just connect with that deeper and realize that it's a preview of what's to come. I think a lot of people have big dreams, like, am I cut out for this? Am I made for this? But the truth is you wouldn't have a dream. It wasn't meant for you. So follow the voice. She always knows best, and don't try to ignore it because she's going to keep showing up. So just continue to listen to the voice and trust you wouldn't have these feelings if they went to be your destiny.
Giulia, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was really pleasant talking to you, and I'm so glad that you were able to come on and share a little bit about how we can change our minds and our mindset around money and making our path forward.
Thank you so much.
I hope you have a lovely night, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank Giulia for joining us tonight, and we're so excited that she was. I'm going to show her tags up on screen again so you guys know where to find her. There is a link for her podcast right on her website, so you guys can go there and check her out. And she has some really fun stuff on her IG. I follow her on IG, and it's really cute. So go, you get little tidbits of her stuff. She has some really cool community stuff and some programs. So all those lovely business owners out there I know that would really benefit from working with her, go check her out. Go buy her stuff, sign up for her community, listen to the podcast, whatever you can do. All right. One last thing, her TikTok. Okay. So I'm going to pay some more bills. We're going to share some things with one of our other sponsors, and we will be right back with talking about how to save some money on our groceries.
At VentureX Holyoke, professional community needs white glove concierge services. Our turnkey workspaces with flexible terms include all the amenities you'll need: a receptionist, high-speed internet, free parking, gourmet coffee, and more. Centrally located off 91 and the Mass Pike, our private offices and conference room rentals provide an ideal space for small to medium businesses and corporate events. Our team will ensure you have all the tools you'll need to succeed. VentureX, the future of workspace.
And we are back. And we are going to talk how to save money on our groceries. It is what I've been getting the most emails about. It is what people keep asking me about. They keep asking me about substitutions, especially for eggs, the $1 million thing in the dairy department. So we are going to talk about eggs first and foremost. They're lovely for breakfast. They're a great thing. But the one place I'm going to tell you to start looking for them is at the farmer's market. The local farms will give you the best deals on the eggs. They'll be healthier for you, and they'll be great for your morning omelets. And I would say use those only for things like scrambled eggs, omelets, hard-boiled eggs, whatever you want. The stuff at the grocery store, if you want to brave it, I would use them for baking and things like that. But I do want to talk about baking substitutions. Now, let's face it, anything that isn't vegan, there are eggs in our things that we bake with, things that we cook with. And even like if you want to bread chicken or something, there's eggs in that. So let's talk about things that are old school. Do you know that the stuff that my grandmother used to make, her traditional mayonnaise-based cake, that was delicious, was a product of wartime. So mayo actually has oil and eggs in it, and it was replaced in cakes because it basically had everything that you needed, and it was perfect to fill stuff in for. And anything that you were like out of, it was like a one ingredient fix for like 2 or 3 different ingredients, which is still good now. Like we can use any kind of mayo that you want. I haven't tried the substitute with vegan mayo yet. That's something that if you guys try it, let me know how that goes. But it does work with anything from avocado oil mayo to any of the lighter mayos, any of that. It works in cakes, breads, anything like that. You can also use it for like when you're breading chicken, instead of using eggs, you can use things like mustard to help stuff stick. And it gives a nice zippy tang to whatever meat you're using, whether it be chicken or fish or whatever, and it works really well and it's nice and delicate. I also have things like, if you're baking, you can use things like flax egg. That works really well. It's usually a 1/4 cup of flax mixed with 2 tablespoons of water, and that solidifies into like an egg to help bind stuff together. And that's also vegan. You can use a 1/4 cup of applesauce for every egg in every recipe. If it is a recipe that is full of more than 2 or 3 eggs, you might want to readjust the measurements, because anything over 3 eggs and you try to do applesauce, it gets really gluey and gummy. You would want to adjust the oil as well, so that way that it would come together. There are things like adjusting the oil in the recipe as well, and only using one less egg and a little more oil. You can use a combination of oil, applesauce, and the flax egg, depending on what you're making, how big of a thing you're making. But typically most baking recipes only call for 1 or 2 eggs. Don't try replacing the eggs though for something like an angel food cake where you need egg whites and eggs. Not really an ideal thing. But these are some things that you might want to think about as far as binding agents and start thinking about keeping in your pantry. Those little serving sizes of like the applesauce cups that people used to put in their kids' lunch boxes that probably still do, the unsweetened kind, are great to keep around because they're exactly a 1/4 cup, which is exactly a serving, and they're perfect. You can dump them right in a recipe. I just wanted to share those things. As far as fresh produce, some of it is in season, some of it isn't. I want to remind you that your freezer section is a wonderful, wonderful place when there's stuff that isn't in season and that they have sales. It's a great place to go to stock up. A well-stocked freezer is a place that is a wonderful thing when you're trying to save money, and especially go straight to the manufacturers. If you go straight to their website, a lot of times they have coupons on there that you can download and use. Go to online grocery store markets such as Thrive Market, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I buy snacks, I buy pantry items, and if you use their brand, you get a discount. And by using that, it's a great thing for you. And you're getting well-sourced organic products all at a good deal. And when they have sales, man, do they have sales. And that is how I keep my pantry stocked all the time. So that is a good thing for you guys. There are places like Misfit Market and things that you can help if you want healthier stuff. But I say, even in the winter here in New England, we have farmers markets for storage vegetables and things like that. Another month or so after the end of March, early April, we'll be moving outside. There will be more vegetables abundant. Other parts of the country are very lucky. The West Coast and the Pacific Northwest, they get farmers markets all year round, so it is good for them. They can start looking there. So please, please, please talk to your local farmers, talk to your local CSA providers, talk to your produce department people, and they can guide you in the right place. Make sure you design your menus around the sale items. Don't be so stuck on what you buy each week unless it's stuff that you eat consistently. I mean, say you want to make Brussels sprouts with your chicken that week. Instead of Brussels sprouts, maybe buy green beans that are on sale or sweet potatoes or whatever. Just make sure you guys are planning ahead. Make sure that you take the time to menu plan. Make sure that you're looking for the best deals. You might want to look at 2 different local chains that you have going in your area to find the best deals for things. So keep checking back, keep looking for tips. I will provide as many as I can for you guys so that we can keep going through the grocery price hikes as much as possible. But I want you all to have an amazing week. And it was so nice getting to spend this time with you. I hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I send so much love and kindness to everyone this week, and I hope everyone has been able to do that, whether it be for themselves, for their families, for anyone else in their lives, even if it's for their pets. Let's hope everyone has some love in their life this week. Now, I will see you all next week.